Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, back to the subject that, everyone's talking about right now. And of course, that's what's going on in Russia. But more importantly, I want to talk about what's going on here in the United States when regards to Russia. There seems to be a large, and I actually said this a couple of weeks ago when this all started, that you're probably gonna start seeing the sentiment you already have change on how we should engage with Russia. In the beginning, before they invaded Ukraine, the American population wanted nothing to do with this. The polls showed overwhelmingly that people wanted us to just leave that whole mess alone. And then as things are happening and as the stories are coming across the mainstream media and the internet showing what appears, and this I'm just going on the surface, so don't start yelling at me yet. It appears that Russia is waging a very messy war against Ukraine, and then there's reports of hospitals and schools and shelters with children in them being attacked, and women and all kinds of stuff, non-combatant reporters and medical staff. The stories that are being told makes it look pretty bad. And we had the president yesterday being quoted on saying that he felt that Vladimir Putin was a war criminal. And now we're at a place where a lot of people in politics are shifting their story to the point of we as Americans need to be involved in this, that we need to physically be involved in this, whether it through air superiority and no-fly zones, more direct confrontation, more direct weaponry over there, or actually boots on the ground fighting this war for Ukraine. We're seeing this across both aisles. There are prominent Republicans and Democrats both saying this. And as crazy as it seems, and this is going to shock you coming from me, as crazy as it seems, probably the loudest voice right now in American politics saying that we don't need to go to war against Russia is the sitting president and some of his people in his administrations, saying that, hey, if we do this, and it's kind of interesting if you listen to what they're saying. It's not so much that they're saying absolutely not, we're not going to do this. We're just stop talking about it, because under no circumstances are we going to go to war against Russia unless they directly attack us or directly attack a NATO ally. They're alluding to that, but they're saying all along that, if we do this, this is going to be World War III. This is going to be World War III. We hear that over and over again. And the point that I'm trying to make is as this continues on, how closer are we getting to us being much more involved? It was reported that we'd already sent Ukraine $1 billion in aid, and a lot of that's military aid. And as of yesterday, the president signed off on sending another $800 million. And all of that pretty much is arms, different types of air defense systems, and it also included what people are calling kamikaze drones. These are tactical drones. Some of them may carry actual bombs where they drop them, but the kamikaze ones, or the drone itself is the bomb, and it gets flown into, it's pretty obvious, gets flown into the target and explodes. This is getting closer and closer and closer to direct, conflict, at least from Russia and Putin's perspective. And I am not at any moment defending them, but we need to look at this through both lenses. And through the Russians' lens, it does appear that it's more and more of an attack directly on them by us. If we're sending stuff over there, and obviously we have to be training these. I mean, do we know that the Ukrainian military even knows how to use our weapons? The more technological weapons that we send over there, are we sending, special forces or other people into country to teach them quickly how to operate these weapons? What is really going on? We don't know. The point is that we're hearing more and more and more of the war drums being beat this concept, this idea of either allowing Poland to send MiGs into Ukraine and allow them to have the MiGs, or us directly sending planes, is becoming, we're hearing more and more people, cry out for that it's necessary, that this is the only way for this to work. We're hearing it again from both the, partly at least Republicans and partly Democrats, and those are the ones that's being given the most airtime, it seems. So all of this that I've said brings us to the point is, how close are we, and is this a possibility? There's still many of you that feel that there's just no way possible. We are not going to get involved in a hot war with Russia. There's a lot of people, I hear that from you all the time. I see the comments on the channel, I get the emails and the messages, that there are still many that believe that. And I'm not saying you're wrong for 1 minute. I just wish that you would, just kind of think about this. If the powers want that, if you look at our economy, you look at everything that's going on with the Great Reset, it would, to me, fit with it. I know you could make a case that it would make things worse, but I think the case could easily be made that us being involved in an actual hot war with Russia is very likely, or at the very least, because we're already in a proxy war with them. Okay, we have to admit that. We're already in a proxy war with Russia, and by proxy through Ukraine. How much more involved are we going to get? I mean, I was looking at some data yesterday that this Ukrainian Foreign Legion that they have, where it's all these foreign fighters that are flooding into Ukraine, the vast majority of them are Americans. Now, how much of that is just individuals here in America just on their own volunteering and saying, hey, I'm going to do it? Because I've seen some videos of that. I've seen some videos of veterans and police officers and former police officers and just regular citizens saying, I'm getting me a ticket and I'm going to Ukraine and I'm going to fight. But how much of it that we may not be aware of is either encouragement from the government, or just flat out ordering, okay, you're going to go over there not under the American flag, you're going to be relieved of duty so that you can go over there. I know that's a lot of conspiracy right there, but I certainly wouldn't put it past our government from doing that, because there has been a major influx, and I don't know the exact numbers, but from what I'm hearing, it's a lot of Americans that are flooding into Ukraine to fight for Ukraine. And I don't think a lot of that's from the left. I mean, not too many people on the left are willing to take their politics and turn it into, being warriors in an actual war zone. So it does look like we're inching closer to that. And how much closer are we going to get? How much more involved are we going to get? Because as this draws out, and it appears by the media, again, I don't believe most of what the media says, and even what they're saying that might have truth in it, it's only portions of what they say might have truth in it. I think overall it's either blatant lies or great exaggerations. But they're spinning it that Putin is really ramping up this war and doing things that are not conventional, and doing things that are could be considered war crimes. If this goes on, there's going to be much more pressure, okay, from the American population, and we're dealing with a president that has low poll numbers already, in an economy that's not doing real good. And if the people that originally were saying we don't want to go to war are now turning against him because he's the one thing they feel holding us back from saving Ukraine, at what point will he break? Now, this is all assuming that there's not some greater plan going on, which I believe that there is. I think that we could, the part of the plan could be potentially to do this, so that when Biden says, all right, we're going to do more, he can say, listen, I'm doing this because of the pressure. The American people want it, and this is what we're going to do. All that being said, that I've blabbed on for 10 minutes, where does that put you and I? We've talked about World War III on here before. And I think we're closer to that than what we've probably ever been. In fact, the UN chief has stated that the possibility of nuclear weapons is possibly closer than it's ever been. I would even go to the point of saying that this may be closer than we ever experienced during the 60s. Cuban Missile Crisis and other instances like that, where we were very, very close to nuclear or World War III. I think we're quite close, and I think that that's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us economically. It's very possible that it'll hurt our just general freedoms in a great grand war like this that could happen. It's certainly not. We're not going to see our own government here back home allow more freedoms. They're going to be more restrictive. There's going to be, under the guise of protecting us from espionage. And if we get involved with Russia, of course, many of us believe that there would be others involved. China, North Korea, Iran, there's possibilities for other things. And this war, it wouldn't be the likelihood, if us and NATO get involved into a hot war with Russia, the likelihood of it just staying there, well, it's very unlikely. I've said on here several times that while I don't think that World War III is very imminent because of all this, I do think that what is happening is setting the stage for World War III. And as this gets drug out longer and longer, if this had been a quick war, that it only lasted a few days, I would say that the odds of World War III are somewhat diminished. But we're into the third week now, starting our third week or starting the fourth week. And the odds of some type of global conflict, I believe, just increase on a daily basis. The more we see these images come out of Ukraine and the claims of what they represent, the more the death toll increases, the more that Russia might feel painted into a corner. That's always something we have to figure. There's all kinds of stuff coming out of Russia that I can't confirm to you. I've seen numerous reports. I think another YouTuber's reported on it already, but I've seen other people talking online that there's a lot of indication that maybe some of these elites and oligarchs and other politicians and stuff in Russia are moving into bunkers into Siberia. There's been screenshots of plane tracking on the internet where it shows a lot of private jets have left Moscow and they've either gone to Siberia or they've gone to other countries that are friendly to Russia. It appears to be that there's some people or something moving, and these are all executive private jets that are leaving. We've seen today the ruble, the Russian currency, it regained 50% of its losses. That's what everyone's been saying about how, the ruble has just crashed. And it did. It fell off a cliff overnight, it seemed. Well, it's regained half of that back. They made their interest payment that everyone's been talking about the last couple of days. There's been some speculation if someone, however they were able to make that payment, was it done in a way to bypass the sanctions? Whoever accepted that payment, did they ignore these sanctions? What's going on? But their currency is bouncing back. There seems to be a lot going on, and I think that basically the odds are ever increasing. I'm not saying that the odds are really good. I'm just saying that they're increasing. That we will eventually find ourselves involved in some type of hot war with Russia, and that's just not a good thing. I'm not on this boat with a lot of people saying that we could stomp Russia in the ground overnight and it would be fine. Maybe we could win against Russia, but Russia has a lot of technology, military technology, that we don't have. I mean, we're superior than them in many ways militarily, but they have the edge in other ways. And not to forget, like I said, that if we were involved with Russia, I would not put it past China, at least indirectly or directly, being involved in this. So this is not an area that we want to be involved in. And if it is part of this Great Reset plan, which it's very possible, it certainly is part of biblical prophecies of wars and rumors of wars. We could certainly see it. And folks, we need to get ready for that. We need to get ourselves prepared. Things that we talk about all the time on here. You got to do those things. You got to get your life spiritually prepared. You got to get your psyche, your emotions mentally prepared, and then obviously the physical preparedness, because it looks like things are starting to head that direction. I know there's all kinds of talks of peace talks, but I'm just not buying it yet. And then on top of that, if you look at the markets and stuff, they're all kind of crazy right now. Everything's up. Everything's up. That's unusual. Stock markets are up in all over the world, a lot of places. Gold, silver's up, oil's up, everything's up today. And we're seeing that. And while I'm not the expert in what's going on there, to me it gets the feel that the real money holders in the markets are trying to increase their holdings as much as they can, so that they can make a little bit more money before the crash comes and they sell out right before it ends. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think that there's a lot going on that we're just not aware of, and I believe that we should become more and more prepared and kind of get ready. Stand up, snap to attention. Be ready for what's happening. Be in a state of readiness. All right, folks. That's all I got on this. I'm telling you, I don't know how I can say this more. Of just get yourself ready, because there is so much going on with what is happening over with Russia and us and other things that I think we would be fools not to pay attention to it. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.